when he was supposed to be serving jury duty, paid for it with a jail sentence. The judge's stiff punishment now making headlines, and now the sleepy offender went before that same judge again. ABC's Diane Macedo is here with what happened next. Diane, good morning.
Whit, good morning to you. There was no oversleeping for this court appearance. DeAndre Somerville asked that judge to reconsider his sentence after spending 10 days behind bars for missing that day of jury duty. Now, DeAndre says jury duty was the first time he ever set foot in a courthouse. Now, after a new ruling by the judge, it looks like he'll be spending a lot more time there.
I've never been in jail. I'm not made for jail.
This young man is now working to clear his record after spending 10 days behind bars for missing jury duty.
This was an immature decision that I made, and I paid the price for my freedom.
21-year-old DeAndre Somerville was sworn in as a juror for a civil case in August. He was scheduled to appear the next morning, but says he missed his alarm and overslept. Rather than heading to the courthouse or alerting the bailiff, Somerville went to work, not knowing there would be major repercussions. A few days later, he was served with a summons and appeared before a judge. The presiding judge, John Kastronakis, said Somerville's absence delayed the trial by 45 minutes. The judge originally sentenced Somerville to 10 days behind bars, 1 year of probation, 150 hours of community service, and a $223 fine.
He made the decision himself that it wasn't important for him to come back to court.
But Judge Kastronakis is now reducing the probation to 3 months. Somerville's mother says she's relieved at the decision.
So I'm glad that everything was lessened. So I appreciate the judge for doing that.
Somerville now calls the experience a lesson learned.
I'm able to tell the next person who may feel like, oh, jury duty is stupid, I don't need to come. It's not stupid, it's a civic duty.
This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 1, verse 28. Punish them that oppress us, and with pride do us wrong. Call Holayim La, Al-Banawa, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakat, Kodash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim out there on the highways and the byways. Salutations to the hopeful elect. Salutations to you speckled birds, you Israelite foreigners. And shalom to the Akwaf, sitting and listening in silence as the scriptures say to do so. 2 Maccabees chapter 1, verse 28. Punish them that oppress us, and with pride do us wrong. And all these nations, and including our own people, continuously to do those of us that seek and do every day what's pleasing and acceptable to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And just in general, the heathen amongst our people, they oppress us more and more, apply more and more pressure upon our necks, and give us no rest, give us no mercy, no sympathy, no consideration, no compassion. They don't spare. You know, as it states in the book of Zechariah, they greater the affliction. Okay, so Yahweh Shem Yahushai is very, very displeased with the countenance and mindset of these heathens towards his people, man. And as you saw and as you continue to see, Esau will never, ever, never, ever, never, ever, never, ever show you Israelites any mercy, man. He's not built. He was not formulated by and from Yahweh Shem Yahushai to show you Jake's mercy, man. Now, Jake is damn wrong, knowing well you have jury duty to oversleep. And you've seen, it's been shown to our people through every avenue of life, whether it be in movies, TV series. It's like a TV series or history, or just in general public, how these people have a perpetual hatred towards us, and they never ever show any pity, and damn sure no remorse for what they do and what they continue to do. So for you to know that you have to go to appear to be a juror to do jury duty, you know, you should have been prepared, man. But also, too, this devil's judgment upon this, Jake, is just diabolical, man. 10 days in jail, a year probation, which he subtracted to 3 months, so a certain amount of hours of community service, which I think like 150 or something like that, which it says it right here, Salaki, 150 hours of community service, and a $223 fine for not appearing to jury duty, man. Now again, Jake should have, been responsible and really taken it seriously. But furthermore, for Esau, he wouldn't do this to his own people. Maybe now he might, do something, a slap on the wrist. But for you to put this man in jail for 10 days, and you was also going to give him a year of probation, okay, and 150 hours of basically free labor of y'all choosing. And then a fine on top of it, and all these punishments, you're gonna have to come out of pocket. You're gonna have to come out of pocket to do Salakia. What is it, Salakia? I literally had it in my daggone mind, Salakia. It might come back to me, but let's continue, man. I'm gonna keep on going with the precepts, Salakia. Okay, because this the probation, you got to pay to be on probation. You have to pay to be on probation, man. Okay, so that's more money coming out of your pocket going to the judicial system, man. This man's the damn devil, man. This is Proverbs chapter 22, because all they do is oppress the poor, man. Because we are the poor. We're at the bottom of every nation. Every nation is above us, and every nation prospers because of us, man. So this is Proverbs 22, starting off at verse 22. Rob not the poor because he is poor. We can't even have a mental rest, or spiritual or carnal. This man robs us of everything so we can feel pressure, so we can feel no security, no safety. We have a great, man, our nation has a great abundance of anxiety, if I'm saying that correctly. Okay, and also, what is that, PTSD? Our nation has all these things that have been transferred from generation to generation, man. Okay, because of the oppression, the judgments, everything that's brought upon us by our enemies, man. Proverbs 22, verse 22. Rob not the poor because he is poor, neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. And that's what was done. And again, Jake's not excused from over fucking sleeping. And as you saw, what did who came to the camera? Who was the next one to speak? The infamous nigger woman, his mama. Well, I'm glad the judge did this, did that. You can tell she has no problem submitting to this cave gorilla, man. Because this judgment was just grievous, man. And again, Jake should have got, maybe had to redo jury duty for, a certain amount of time or something like that. But to put him in jail for 10 days and then also to give 150 hours of community service. And then on top of that, you was going to give him a year of probation, man. Which you subtracted that down to 3 months, which you still got to come out of pocket for that. Then on top of it, a fine. That's wicked, man. That shows the hatred, man. Because again, he would not, if it was a blonde, blue-haired Edomite, young, in training terrorist that came up to that court, he probably would have gave him a slap on the wrist. Probably said, you need to get your priorities straight, son. And I'm going to show you some mercy. I bet you. Okay? But again, Proverbs 22, verse 22. Rob not the poor because he is poor. Neither oppress the afflicted in the gate. For Yahweh, by Shem Yahawashi, will plead their cause and spoil the souls of those that spoiled them. So that recompense, those consequences, the righteous indignation of vengeance from the Lord is very near. Not far, but very near. Okay, literally at arm's reach, man. Matter of fact, closer than arm's reach, man. Okay, because the Lord's not going to keep on sitting back and watching you chastise wickedly, harshly, and unrighteously his people, man. Especially those that have come back to him that he has predestinated, man. And yeah, the Lord's going to give you devils a last time for a hoorah to really judge those that need to be judged in his eyes, which we understand through various experience and growth in his truth. But let's continue, because I don't want this to be too long. I want to get straight to the points. And also, too, Salakia, I want to say this before I forget. I've been sent 2 things to do jury duty. The first time I got sent jury duty, I can't remember exactly when it was, but I think I registered a vote and I voted or something like that. I forgot what exactly it was and what time it was, but matter of fact, it was I think it was in my early 20s. In my early 20s when I got in. I'm not going to go into the details of what happened, but I was on probation. I was on probation. That's why I say things that I know what the fuck is going on, and I'm not just going to say things to say it. So when I got the letter, I literally called the number that was on the letter, and I told them, I was like, how am I going to do jury duty when I'm on probation? And they immediately disqualified or, withdrew my name. And now, again, the second time was either last year or the year before when I got a letter, because I'm living in a different county now from where I grew up, and they sent me a letter to register to do jury duty and to see if I was able. Hey, man, I supplanted the shit out that document. Okay? I supplanted. Look, man, I don't mess around when it comes to things, man. I really, do things as very with Salakia. I'm excited with a lot of intellect and things that I really want to avoid and things I really want to progress in, and also just master. Man, look, man. The things I put on that document and mailed back to them. Matter of fact, I did on the internet. The things I put on the document on the internet to make sure that they would not select me or refer me to do it. Hey, man, it was beautiful, man. Okay? So you look, man, I'm not going to play around with Esau, but Salakia. Sorry to be long-winded. This is Baruch chapter 4. You gotta take things seriously, man, because guess what? This devil's going to take things seriously. Okay? This is Baruch chapter 4, verse 15. For he, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, have brought a nation upon them from far, a shameless nation, okay, these Edomites, and of a strange language. And that language in this concept, in this lesson, is their customs, their judgments, their philosophies. Okay, because that's not the language that we're used to, because that language that how they conduct themselves is unrighteous. It's not of our nature. It's an abomination to us. It's wicked. It's evil. It's perverse. Because everything about this nation is all the things that are contrary and against Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai and the true nature of life in general, man. And you see it. We live amongst it. Okay? And of a strange language, who neither reverence old man nor pity child. Now this is a young man. So they don't reverence, have mercy, pity, consideration, sympathy for the hoary headed, which is the gray headed, for the middle age, for the young, and daggone sure not for the child, man. They was throwing our children to alligators just to make some alligator boots, man. And their mentality has not changed. And as you know, the beloved Elder Yashawama did a video, and I also grabbed a clip from off his video, where you had a red silverback pale gorilla literally say, we voted for you, Trump, for you to bring back the noose. Now, who do you think he was referring that to? He wasn't referring that to his own people. He was referring that to you so-called blacks, Native Americans, Latinos, Hispanics, and Seminole Indians, man. That's who he was talking to. He wasn't talking to no other nation but you Israelites. Okay, but let's continue. Okay, because again, their judgment is just wicked and perverse, man. And they're a very, very proud nation, man. You know, and you see how the judge was so comfortable. And again, this is how they think, this is how they act, because they believe that there's never, ever going to be any consequences for their actions, no recompense. They're not going to have to answer for their crimes, man, because that's all this is criminal activity, man. These people are the biggest fucking criminals on the planet, the biggest fugitives, vagabonds, the cancer, the problem. And guess what? We got the solution, and that's Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. This is the book of Habakkuk, chapter 1, and I'm going to read verses 6 to 7. For lo, I, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, raise up the Chaldeans, that bitter and hasty nation, and they are the new modern Chaldeans, because you got to also recognize and figure too and acknowledge that Esau is a culture vulture. He's grabbed all these things from these different captivities and rolled them up into a ball. Okay, so he's the modern day Chaldeans, the Grecians, which he was, the Romans, Babylonians, etc., man. Sodom and Gomorrah, okay, just to name a handful, okay, which shall march through the breadth of the land to possess the dwelling places thereof. So like it, to possess the dwelling places that are not theirs. And are they not doing that right now? Do they not walk around with their chests and their noses to the sky? Do they not profess to have the strongest military on the planet? Yes. Okay. And this is the one of the greatest, wickedest kingdom that has ever been formulated and constructed by a heathen nation, man. Verse 7. They are terrible. So we don't have to give examples. We know. Okay. Their faces should be beside all these things that I'm going to read right now when it comes to the dictionary for these words. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment, okay, what you see right here, this is judgment. What is he? He's a judge. And what do they say? Your honor. When there's nothing honorable about these damn people, man. Nothing. They're scum. They're POSs. Okay? Peasants. Nobodies. They're beneath all nations. And all nations are beneath us. And it just, when you sit back and think about things, you just be like, damn, we really, really, truly effed up. Not only did the Lord put the basis of this one nation that's under all nations above all of us, especially us, but he has them running the whole world. And this is, man, look, man, this has to be the worst punishment we have ever received from Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. And if you cannot understand and receive that and see it, then, hey, man, this ain't for you, man. Habakkuk 1 verse 7. They are terrible and dreadful. Their judgment and their dignity shall proceed of themselves, man. Which is not the correct judgment, which is not right judgment, which is just completely wicked. But let's close out. The point is made. Let's go to the book of Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2. I'm going to start off at verse 10. And I'm going to read to verse 11. Let us oppress the poor, righteous man. Let us not spare the widow, nor reverence the ancient gray hairs of the age. So referring back to what we read prior, they're not going to reverence, have pity, have sympathy upon the old, the young, or the child. Okay? And they're letting their wicked, decorruptible law of the land, which again, as we read in Habakkuk chapter 1, which is terrible, because they're terrible and dreadful. Okay? Because they want to make sure that you feel that pressure. They want to make sure that you don't have any security. You don't feel safe. You feel anxiety. You feel just no sense of hope. None whatsoever. And that's the main thing they want you to feel. No sense of hope. And a lot of you Israelites don't really receive and see that you're a slave, man. You're basically just working to make them rich. And on top of that, because anybody that have slaves, they want the slaves to be healthy, to be strong, to be able to function. No, they want you to decay away. Because that's what this place does. It makes you decay away slowly. It's torture, torment. Okay? The food, the air, the water, every custom of life on this place is torture and torment. Wisdom of Solomon 2, verse 11. Let our strength be the law of justice, for that which is feeble is found to be nothing wroth. Because their law was created to oppress you, not to oppress their people and not to judge their people, man. You know, for so long, you know, you couldn't even say anything against this devil. He could do anything he want and get away with, which he still can. But back then, it was no such thing as a so-called white man getting snatched up, having to get a lawyer, going to jail, bonding out, and having to go to a court case for executing the Israelite. There was no such thing. They wouldn't even get mentioned. The sheriff, the judges, and everybody else that was in the judicial field was a part of it. Okay? So, you know, may Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai come get us quickly, man, because, you know, this place is hell, man. So I don't want to wrap this out, man. I hope and I pray that this is edifying, uplifting, and informative to the true sincere Akiwa Akwaf. So with that, I'm just going to say, Shalom.